When we look up at the sky, we never do so expecting to find anything unusual. Up there are the stars, the moon, the sun, nothing else. Or maybe there is? Professionals in the field have discovered a world of possibilities in our galaxy. There are numerous planets around us that could become our lifeline one day. Out of all of them, Mars seems the closest to be visited, but plans could change, especially after some university teams and professionals in the area discovered a series of chilling images that can make the bravest of astronauts recoil. Would you like to know them? Then stay with us and get ready to discover something that may keep you awake at night. Number 5. Life on Mars. Images have power, and those from space even more so. However, most people have rarely accessed this content in their lives. Hardly anyone cares to look at what's in space until it appears to be related to something deadly or catastrophic. This is precisely what NASA detected on July 15, 2015, through the Curiosity rover. This Earth-controlled robot is in charge of collecting information on an unmanned mission on Mars. On the Red Giant, Curiosity has found many revealing elements regarding the atmospheric conditions of this planet, but something caught the attention of the specialists. It's the image of an abnormal face, similar to the one in the Alien movie. Numerous newspapers in Europe took this image and accompanied it with yellow headlines. The newspapers claimed that this was the first alien creature detected by man, as a crab-like body with an atypical and scary face was clearly distinguishable. NASA never denied these facts, and although the images were in the public domain, finding them on the web has become increasingly difficult over the years. Number 4. Something that should not exist. Images arriving from Mars rarely leave humans indifferent. It's fascinating to discover what's hidden outside our planet, but sometimes, and only sometimes, we discover that up there, things aren't so different. At least, this is what's shown by the photos taken in 2014 by different missions sent to Mars. The images that have reached Earth show us a small hill that doesn't seem to be anything interesting until you distinguish what's hiding among the obvious. It's the strange rocky fossil extremely similar to the shell of the extinct ammonites, creatures similar to modern squids. These creatures lived about 65 million years ago until a meteorite that extinguished dinosaurs wiped them off the map. Or maybe it didn't. The images coming from Mars seem to indicate that there were once such creatures on this planet and that there could be many more up there, especially since their habitats are deep in valleys, rocks and plains, and all of these conditions are offered by Mars. Number 3. The God of War. In Roman mythology, Mars was a planet with a lot of prominence since it represented the god of war. Perhaps, thanks to this celestial entity, they achieved such wide military supremacy over their rivals, or perhaps because they always were a military nation. For one reason or another, an astronomer has found something that seems to confirm the cult of the Romans. In the middle of the desert landscapes of this planet, an astronomer from the NASA team discovered something unprecedented. It was a small object, perhaps tiny, but significant. Can you imagine what it is? Probably not, because how could you even think that a bullet would be in the Martian soil of this planet? Yet there it is. Small projectile, longer than most bullets but not different enough to confuse the specialists. Interestingly, the projectile doesn't appear to have ever been used. The bullet's head is made of a copper alloy and the lower part has a rather long body, different from that used by most Terran weapons. But how did it get there? Is it a harbinger of the war coming upon mankind? Was it used by some alien creature? None of these answers can be given, but the find is extremely puzzling. Number 2. A disturbing theory. Scott C. Waring. You may not be familiar with his name, but over several decades, this man has done numerous investigations on UFOs and alien life. Several of his works have focused on making harsh criticisms to NASA, due to the countless secrets they hide from society regarding what's hidden in space. However, this self-proclaimed UFO expert made a disturbing finding in the Red Giant. It's about an object that shouldn't be on Mars but that indeed is there, at the sight of those who know how to find it. The object will be nothing more and nothing less than an old and forgotten boot. This seems trivial on the surface, but to Scott, it means that there's a huge cover-up perpetrated by the United States. According to his research, government astronauts have been on Mars for several years, but up there something went wrong, very wrong. The expert still doesn't know precisely what could have happened, but leaving a forgotten boot is only a sign of flight and desperation. Something may have struck up there, but as in most cases of this kind, NASA is silent and the doubters are hesitant. Could it really be a boot? It remains difficult to determine it. But one thing is certain, if it's confirmed, something dangerous is lurking on Mars. Number 1. The face of Mars. In 1976, the world saw something it never expected to see in its worst nightmares. That year, the Viking 1 and Viking 2 missions reached the surface of Mars to explore the arid, rocky valleys of this planet, unaware that they would capture something unexpected. As Viking 1 traversed the Martian soil through the rocky Cydonia region, Viking 2 followed from space, capturing photographs of every step and movement over this terrain. It was then, in the middle of the journey through the region, that they came across an image that continues to generate controversy to this day. It is the perfectly chiseled silhouette of a face shaken by suffering. The face looks like that of a man or a tormented creature with an open mouth, a nose very similar to that of a man and 2 wild eyes. The images soon became publicly available and numerous theories arose around them. Some consider that the photograph was just an effect of the typical lights and shadows of the planet. Others claim that it was a trace of an ancient civilization and that it was the definitive proof that there was once life on this planet. Of course, NASA described it as a huge rock formation that, when viewed from a certain height, took on the shape of a human face due to the usual shadows and lights of the planet. But few came to believe this theory. That face shook the press and the citizens of the world, who even years later are still wondering if someday we will discover the reality behind this planet. Ground Zero. Scott Waring isn't a man that wastes his time. Not only has he dedicated his life to investigating space and UFOs, but he has made several discoveries on Mars. The latest of these, far from being as typical as an astronaut's boot, would be about something much more significant and cultural. According to his own photographs and analysis, in the middle of the Martian surface, a series of rocky shakes and crumbling have uncovered something that seems to redefine what we know of this planet. It's an enigmatic sculpture that has remained in the same place for 11 years and continues to have the same details. In principle, a representation of the human being can be seen with total clarity, since the head of this alien work seems to have been inspired by the appearance of our species. The body remains undisclosed, as it is buried on the surface of Mars. Some wonder the origin of the body that makes up the rest of the sculpture. Others continue to question whether some ancient civilization might not have had the ability to observe us at the beginning of time, when the human species was just starting to take its first steps. No one seems to be convinced about what's going on with this strange discovery, but the possibilities are worthy of a science fiction book. Space offers a world of possibilities that we are just beginning to discover. Will we ever know it in depth? Will we be able to explore its mysteries? You may not have to wait too long to find out. If you join us in the following videos, you too will discover the creepiest space breakthroughs in the cosmos and the infinite possibilities that it entails. Since the civilization that will end our species could be lurking in one of those planets. Would you like to know a little more about it? Then, check out these videos.